Production line equipment. We have briefly mentioned the use of electronic equipment in the implementation and operation of serialization and product tracking programs. Often, serialization and product tracking programs will need to be implemented for multiple production lines in several countries in numerous languages. It is also possible that each line will have different critical parameters. Let's now examine the equipment and functions in a little more detail. We'll take a typical packaging line that has 4 components as an example. A serial number is placed on the carton. Each case also has a separate serial number known as the case serial number. This serial number is the parent of the carton serial number. This information is uploaded to the serialization and product tracking system and is defined as aggregation. A critical parameter is the quality of the print on the carton and case.
The scenario, on-site. This is Curate Corporation, a manufacturer of a finished dose tablet product. In the packaging process, the tablets are placed in blister packs, which are then placed in cartons. This unit is called an item. Cartons are then placed in cases. Finally, the cases are placed on pallets. Each of these packaging formats, item, case, and pallet, is a unit of commercial transaction and requires a unique serial number for identification. Once generated, the serial number needs to be transmitted from its electronic storage location to the packaging line. The serial number and its 1D or 2D barcode are then printed on the item, case, or pallet label with high enough quality so that it can be read by a scanner. For each packaging operation, a sufficient quantity of serial numbers must be generated, stored, and transmitted to the packaging site as needed. They must also be human and machine readable when printed on the packaging. Serial number transmission, enterprise level through to machines and devices. The serial numbers generated and stored at the enterprise level are sent to the appropriate sites before a packaging run begins. Each site stores its allocated serial numbers in a dedicated site storage area of the serialization system. Serial numbers are allocated in batches. It is critical that enough numbers are allocated for each run so that there is no bottleneck or delay in the packaging process due to lack of numbers. A question often asked is why the numbers are not drawn down as needed from the enterprise level and used in real time. Well, if there was an interruption in the communication path, then the packaging run would need to stop and await further supply of serial numbers. This would delay the packaging process. As packaging commences, the serial numbers are fed to the correct line and issued to the printers. Function of the device or machine level. When the packaging run begins, the serial numbers are queued and then distributed to the device or machine. Some serial numbers are allocated to particular packaging levels. The correct numbers must therefore be sent to either items, typically bottles or cartons, cases, or pallets. The equipment at each packaging level can include a printer, labeler, and scanner. Numbers are issued to the printer and printed on the item or label. The scanner then checks for the presence of the number. Let's look at the individual steps that occur to ensure the correct information is printed on a package. The serial numbers are sent through the device and are printed on the labels or item in human-readable form. A 2D barcode, or 1D in certain cases, is also printed along with the serial number to make it machine-readable. It is at this point that the serial numbers make the critical transition from digital state to physical state. When the data is printed on the item or label, the now physical serial number must be checked by the scanner. The printed items pass through a scanning zone, and scanning cameras read the printed data. the data is checked for legibility of the machine-readable elements. That is the 2D barcode. Some scanners also check the human-readable element and the overall printed data accuracy. If both the integrity and readability are acceptable, the serial number is commissioned. Now the serial number exists in both digital and physical form and has established the unique identity of the unit. The serialized packaging line. Here you can see how items are combined into bundles, the bundles are packed into cases, and the cases are loaded onto pallets. You can also see how each station has a labeler and/or printer and a camera. In a normal packaging operation, all steps are automated, and the operators monitor the line. Let's look at a single item as it goes through the serialization and aggregation process. The process begins when a new label with a unique serial number is placed on the item to identify it and its contents. The item is often a carton, but it can also be a bottle, patch, pre-filled syringe, or any saleable unit. Often, individual items are bundled together in preset quantities before being packaged in cases. A set number of bundles are then automatically put into a case. A unique serial number is printed on the side of the case. A parent-child relationship now exists between the case serial number and the bundle serial numbers. A parent-child relationship also exists between each bundle and the items within that bundle. A set number of cases is then loaded onto the pallet. Here, another parent-child relationship is created, this time the parent being the pallet and the child being each individual case. Disaggregation using the Mode 1-2-3 approach. Let's look at the Mode 1-2-3 procedure in action. The Mode 1-2-3 sequence should be kept as simple as possible, but with built-in checkpoints to ensure that all scans performed contain the verification step. In fact, operators should never perform more than one scan without the verify step, just like this. If the verify step is skipped and a mistake occurs, it will be difficult to determine when the mistake happened. The manual event log will need to be searched one event at a time until you find the right one. So let's take an example. The first step is to scan the pallet label. The mode is Select Disaggregation Function. Next, identify the correct pallet label. Scan using the disaggregation mode. Finally, verify the correct pallet and mode on your monitor. Here the operator is interacting with the digital and physical states of the product. Transaction terms. Now that we have an understanding of the DSCSA and the rules governing transactions, we'll look at the critical terms used in the supply chain to describe transactions. These terms are transaction information, transaction history, and transaction statement. Drug products that are shipped into the United States move between the manufacturer, wholesaler, distributor, and dispenser. Manufacturers and supply chain companies must supply the transaction information, history, and statement for each change of ownership of the drug product. Click on each term for more information. The DSCSA is being implemented over a 10-year period from 2013 to identify and trace prescription drugs as they are distributed in the United States. It will allow exchange of information about where the drug has been in the supply chain.